Welcome. You're listening to Mystic Moon Cafe Radio.
The bang.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
20
Ooh,
seconds.
are we starting?
We have started.
Oh,
The music's on.
I guess I should go listen, eh?
14, 13, 12. Who's starting?
How about one of you?
Well,
Because
I
I'm
guess.
kind of out of it. Oh, you're the guest. How about Wendy?
All right, and that was our wonderful intro done by Jacob Bryce, our star guest this evening, and June is here with me as well, and
Hello.
by golly, we're just going to have some fun with it.
Yes, we are.
Yes, definitely.
True
Yes. So awesome.
Yes.
So how has everybody been this wonderful last week?
that. I've had a
Silence.
no. I've had a week. I'm about to
Yep.
have a real big 3 weeks. But June, you had all that non-work-life balance going on.
Oh my gosh, yeah. There was a strike. It was on all the news and the papers. It's not a secret, so I don't have to say anything like, ooh, it's a secret. But yeah, there was a strike at the hospital I work at. And, since I'm not union, I had to actually help, with a lot of things in the labor pool. So it was a lot of strenuous work, working 14 hours a day, 13 to 14, around sometimes those.
Mm-hmm.
I can't even talk. I can't form words. So yes, I'm still recovering from it. So, but it was a lot of work that
June's
I'm
on
not
whiskey
used to.
therapy for this trauma.
Yes. Just a little
Maybe we should
fireball.
join her. Yeah.
Just a little fireball.
Ooh, did you conjure it or did you pour it?
Just a few little cinnamon shots. We're good.
Oh,
Ooh.
fireball. It brings out the inner succubus.
No, is that it?
I mean, when do you get to say succubus nowadays?
That's true.
Minx?
True.
Do you like
That's true.
minx?
It's so silly. Oh my God.
Oh,
Wendy,
okay.
what
For
about
everybody
you?
listening, hang on just a second.
Okay.
For everybody listening, at least on my screen, it's showing the chat is not working on the website. But on Spreaker, we are definitely, chat is up and running. So you may just have to join us there.
I've got stuff going on there.
You do? I don't.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You've got nothing in the chat?
I've got the picture.
Oh, yeah, we've got stuff. Hit refresh on your browser.
It's done that since you said you fixed it earlier. It may be a cookies thing because I know it has told me every time we put it up and it comes up that your browser does not accept cookies, so blah, 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 blah. So it could just be my browser is rejecting it.
Okay, yeah,
Ooh.
I went, hi gang, I'll drop links, blah, 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 and then I dropped links so you could get a taste of how I do ghost reports and ghosty gadgets and ghosty shows. And then I just wrote howdy, and everything went up just fine.
Okay, marvelous then. Then it's my computer excuse me, I'll just go ahead and shut that window because we are taxing my system with the studio and Skype and recording and everything. But that's cool. Okay, yeah. No, of the week I've had it's a week. Like of all the weeks I've had, it's one of them.
Well, at least that's good.
Now the Chiefs winning the Super Bowl, of course,
Oh yes.
The big parade was downtown today, so
Oh,
they closed everything. They closed the schools.
that's what I heard. They closed schools. They closed everything for it. That's pretty fun.
They did. Sure. Okay.
Cold and snowy?
Yes, cold and snowy. It got to almost like 25 degrees today and wind chill in the teens and snow, but not a lot of snow. Thank goodness.
Yeah, we had the usual 45 and downpour.
Hey,
That's your weather report for the week.
Nice and rainy out every day.
Every day. We're looking forward to maybe snow. So
yes.
Yay. Keep it, would you? Don't let the wind from the northwest come blowing through.
Yeah, I don't think it's our wind that's the problem.
Oh,
It's actually okay off the ocean. It's warm.
Well, except that it
pleasant.
blows all those systems to me, Kansas City, personally. I think it's a vendetta of some sort.
No, that's like 1,800 miles away. We're good.
Yeah, I am so glad you're good.
True.
It's so weird. I forgot because we're doing video for this, folks who are listening, that like I'm making funny faces and stuff. Like I'm like, you can't hear funny face.
Watch the video on YouTube after I get it put up late tonight or tomorrow. We may have to include a bloopers segment this time.
Okay.
No.
Yeah, like Augie isn't a blooper enough, and he'll be down shortly.
No, I'm sure. It's like, hey,
Yeah,
what you doing?
I'm sure my pooches will make an appearance at some point tonight.
Undoubtedly.
It's like, what is Daddy still doing in there? Just ignoring us.
He's like, give me the damn ball. You there. Stop talking into that black thing in front of your face with the phone. Throw me the ball. I'll be like, okay, baby, do you want a cookie first?
Oh. They're so mistreated, Jake. So mistreated.
No, like the ASPCA is coming after my ass.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
I had to put the box on the computer so that the boys couldn't, email them and turn me in for everything.
Mm-hmm.
After their spa day and massages.
I know.
Exactly.
They're like, what did your human do? What did human do? And he's like, no treat. or she broke the treat and gave me half and said it was a full treat.
That was terrible.
I did that because the treats were like, this big. So
No, it was the size of a deer's leg. It's
exactly
A deer's leg. Yeah. Just a side of beef. Treat.
That's all. Hey, I thought those ungratefuls treats, and Augie got to pick out his own toy as we were leaving.
That's so cute. I
can't
love it.
take my dogs to the store. They just like jump in on all the teddy bears.
Mine.
Especially Wally. He grabs all the toys and treats and then takes them to his bed upstairs. Yes, my kids have beds upstairs and they have like, their own room. And then he just lays around them and he goes,
Oh no. It's like mine.
But I don't care if you weigh 20 pounds more than I do, Mikey. Mine. My precious.
That would be, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we're slave to our dogs.
We are very well trained.
That's
But
awesome.
you know what? I've noticed that so many of the paranormal people we talk to, and if you get to know them on Facebook and everything, tons of posts. They are all dog lovers and advocates, or cat lovers and pet lovers, basically furry kid lovers. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of cool. I like it.
It is very cool.
I'm waiting for that tax day where I can write off my fur kids.
One day, you never know. One day.
All
It'll be
right.
awesome.
Well. What do you guys want to talk about next? More weather or furry kids?
Well, I mean, if we're not going to be on the subject of fur cat, I'll just talk about
Yeah.
Just talk about the dogs. It's like there was this one day.
I took me puppy to the park, and he liked that. And then he pissed on my leg.
So silly.
I can't take Augie to the dog parks very much because he goes running over to the gate and greets everybody that comes in, and not everybody is always as social and
Aw.
reality as he is, and he gets his feelers hurt.
Aw. Poor Augie. Can't help that he's so
He's
friendly.
a big misunderstood boy.
Aw.
So you guys had an investigation last night at Spooked, is that correct?
We did. We did. It was really fun. One thing, I love about some of our investigations that we set up, they are, especially at Spooked in Seattle or, some other local places that aren't really for a client, that are basically just for us. And it's really cool because we get to kind of do some experiments that we wanted to try, or try out some new equipment that we wanted to test out. Things like that. And last night Jake had a really good, testing, a little bit experiments last night. So would you like to tell about your experiments?
Well, first, while I'm speaking, I will, for the people who will watch YouTube, I'll do a faux version of the experiment.
Okay.
One moment, I have to change my headphones.
Okay. He is going to do a
So this is called the
version.
Estes method. And with the Estes method, it's kind of like you're using a spirit box and doing an EVP session. But
No, we don't use spirit boxes for investigations. I'm just going to put that disclaimer on that. Just wanted to put the disclaimer on.
I have to put things on my head.
Are those the obnoxious, loud, staticky sounding pieces of equipment? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Spirit boxes. I have an example right here.
We do not use that for investigations, just to say that's too suggestive. And with our experiment, we even proved it a little more so.
So what happens is, you know what? I'll just use these headphones because the official headphones I have are kind of a pain in the ass to put on. But I'll go through. Okay. So overall, what you do is you're going to wear a blindfold, and you're going to wear headphones that really block out all of the environmental noise. Now, the brand you're supposed to use, and I forget the name, Vic Firth is the name of the headphones. There are no product endorsements in here. This is just the shit I use. These are used by drummers in recording studios because of all the reverb and echo effect from drumming and stuff. This filters it all out. So what happens is you put on a blindfold, then you put on the headphones, and you jack it into the spirit box, and the only thing you can hear is the spirit box. So what's kind of cool about it is you can, as it's flipping through the channels, you can hear everything that's really low volume, because even if it's going through in static, it's still picking up the different channels. And you go through, and what happens is you can't hear the person next to you asking the questions. You don't ask the questions when you've got this stuff going on. Okay. And what you're trying to do is, if it's really an intelligent spirit, allegedly, right? June will ask a question. The answer should come through the spirit box, which only I can hear. I can't hear her. And, that's how you can tell if you might have some kind of intelligent ITC communication. But as we did the test, it was complete bunk and bullshit. Everything was gibberish. It didn't make any sense. The answers didn't make any sense.
Yeah. So basically, when he had the headphones on and the white noise with all those radio stations going through everything, I kept asking questions like, "Can you tell us your name?" So, yes, that was basically it. I kept asking. And it was really bad because it was really bad because there was a religious station on there. So.
Oh no!
And it sounded like it was a little bit of an evangelical one because there were talks of demons and things like that.
Yep.
And there was also a Spanish station.
That kind of threw me off when you hit that.
Yeah, I was like,
Because you're not really supposed to think. I mean, when you set the timing on for the frequencies, how many it leaps. You want to be able to make sure you hear a word at least on each channel before it goes. And so you're sitting there and it's like, I think I had one that said, I don't know if someone, and it's like a mariachi band comes over, and then it throws me off for like 3 seconds.
Did you guys start doing a little bit of salsa dancing at that point, or just move on?
Yeah.
But we tried AM and FM, and we had 2 other members of a ghost try it out, and it was all junk.
Yeah, but because at the time too, I mean, it would have been pretty cool because, like I said, they can't hear me at all. So I kept asking, what is your name? Can you just give me a name? Give me some sort of name. And, I tried to keep on that for a while because I thought if I kept on that for a while, maybe something would actually listen. And then I thought, well, maybe they don't understand. Then that's why I haven't gone through my recording yet. And hopefully I'll finish it all tomorrow night. Because that would be really cool if I did get an EVP on my regular recorder, my audio recorder. So, but in the meantime, I just kept saying, please tell us a name, and nothing really kind of came through at all. Yeah.
But I did have a personal experience.
Yes. What is your personal experience? Yes.
Can you say it on the air, or do I need to hit
yeah,
that one
I mean,
button?
I'll put up a report for Ghostly next this me. I'll publish a report on Ghostly
Absolutely.
in the week. And after this, we can probably play the EVP. So while I was doing the Estes method, at one point it felt like someone was breathing on my right side on my face. It was a cold breath, like just cold, going pulsing. Now, normally I would say let's throw it.
Nobody was close to him at all. Yeah.
But, it's a big cavernous spot. We've got nooks and crannies. It could very well have been some kind of outdoor pressure. So, the debunker in me, which is mainly all I do.
But
I would throw it out.
Were open. No doors were open or anything.
But we had that big hole.
Yeah, that could be it.
I was right next to it.
It could be a little rat up there on the hole, just.
It could have been a raccoon farting. A raccoon could have got some whipped cream, blew his butt out, and I'm getting blasted by ecto raccoon.
You never know. Yes, it could have been.
I can just see little rocket raccoon up there going.
Exactly.
Yes, and he would do that too.
Human. Who's dumb enough to put headphones on and a blindfold and just rattle off some bullshit?
Yes. Let's blow their minds as I blow mine. Yeah.
Exactly.
And then, in a more serious matter, it felt like it was on my left shoulder. It felt like someone took my shoulder and just pinched down on it really hard.
Ooh.
I hate
that. It's very interesting.
It was like here and through there. And that's when I was actually, I think I was rattling off a lot of stuff was coming through the radio.
Yeah, it was sometimes it was like a nonstop thing. Yeah.
And then that was going on, and then I did feel dizzy at one point, but I did say these headphones really clamp down on your head. So you could imagine there could be some blood flow issues.
Yeah, cutting off his circulation.
Yeah, to the brain. Because it's like, you're dumb. Let me just end this one right here.
I'm going to let that go and not say a word.
But I mean, so from that, as we went around Spooked in Seattle to the different parts in the underground, the next thing we did after the Estes theory or method, which we should give credit to, it came out of the Stanley Hotel in Estes, Colorado. And I can't remember the guy's name. The two guys, it's Conrad something, and I can't remember the other guy's name. It might be Carl or Keith Pfeiffer or something like that. They're on the TV show Hellier or Hellier. Is it Hellier or Hellier?
I think it's Hellier.
Hellier. Okay, with the new
the town in Kentucky that saw the the little ETs or whatever?
Oh yeah, I haven't watched the
can't
show.
remember.
I don't know. I just,
I can't
Oh,
remember.
it's a
they use it
YouTube
on
show, I
Kindred
think.
Spirits. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So and they use it quite a bit on Kindred Spirits as well.
Okay.
So you've seen the method before. But when we move to the other parts, which would be the Death Museum, which was just right outside the underground, and as well as in this old restaurant, if I could talk, place, where a homeless person supposedly died.
Yeah.
And so we were playing music from the period of, we were using the 1900, 19 teens music from that period, asking questions, speaking in foreign languages, and I got jack shit. But
yeah, who knows? Who knows what you never know.
You just never do.
The ever amazing Christelle Harmon Lemke, I think, and Jill Marie of A Ghost captured an EVP.
An EVP. For those of you who are not in the know, that's an electronic voice phenomenon, not generally heard by the bare earballs of your head, but quite often, yeah.
Yeah, not heard by those either.
Of course, if I was listening, all I would hear was the shh of the nerve damage in mine. So.
Well, this was like a plain EVP. It was not generated by any kind of, spirit box or anything. It was an EVP.
Okay. Have you classed it yet? You know how they do that?
I would say Class A.
Okay.
It's pretty clear.
All right. Shall I play it for the audience then? And
sure.
When I edit the recording, I'll try to put this in about the same spot. Mark 27 minutes, 14 seconds. Here we go.
And out of the darkness the zombie did call. True pain and suffering he brought to them all. Away ran the children to hide in their beds, for fear that the devil would chop off their heads.
I could hear it through the radio when it played.
Could you?
Oh, good.
Okay.
I did hear it. Yeah, it's because since we're live, folks, we don't monitor the broadcast the same way. We don't always hear what you hear. So, but I heard it.
So it is the whisper after she talks about the paper.
It's about 9 seconds. It's about 9 seconds into that clip. Clip is 43 seconds. It comes right at the 9-second mark.
Okay, good to know. And if you didn't hear it, put some headphones on and crank it up. I had it as loud as it'd go in the tracks, and that's usually loud enough. So
yeah, I did hear it.
Okay, good deal.
Not as well as like the source file that we've got, of course, but I'll put the source file up on Ghostly when I do the report.
Okay.
And you can listen to it there. I'll do a high quality audio clip for it.
Ooh. Well, yeah, pass that along, and I'll put it in the YouTube video.
Okay.
The description thing as well.
Oh, okay. Yep, no problem.
Yay!
Yay!
Very cool.
Evidence.
Evidence.
It's pretty amazing.
Okay. Very amazing.
And hopefully we'll have more by the time we all finish listening to all of our audio. So.
Yeah, I was just shooting video at the investigation last night, so you'll see lots of boring Estes. I'm not going to do the full hour of Estes.
Well,
I'll put in a few minutes, maybe.
Well, back to a lot of the equipment that you use. Our friend Seth Michael of White Light Paranormal, White Light Paranormal Insight. There we go.
I'll be right
Insight.
back. Frankie wants
Yeah.
in.
He wanted me to ask you a few questions since he wouldn't be available to listen live, and he wanted me to ask, what are the best cameras, like must-have cameras for investigations?
Sorry for
Yeah.
parental duties.
You'll have to repeat that again, Wendy.
I have to repeat. I'm sorry. The studio came up further. Sorry about that. Okay, what are the best cameras, like must-have cameras for investigations?
Okay, so for cameras, we could talk about a true like DSLR camera, and then we can talk about camcorders.
Okay.
Because nowadays, I don't think your standard one-click camera is going to do it anymore. And the other thing is, with most digital cameras, they can do video.
Yes.
So, on my investigations now, I use exclusively camcorders. And the reason I do that is so we get a full context of what's happening during the investigation and when we capture evidence. And video, there's nothing better than video for it. The one thing I would say you would have to do for that before I get to the brands I recommend and show them off here in this little
Our little window.
Our little window here for everyone.
Mhm. We've lost June in her little window.
Oh, no.
Is she not off?
But we can see
Yeah.
we can see her Echo
See me?
Spot Amazon if you would like to sponsor us.
Yes.
Please.
The one thing you have to know about, and this is with all camcorders, generally the microphones suck.
Right. Mhm.
So you would still either need to pair up a separate microphone, could be a little digital audio recorder, or you could get an external mic to attach to the camcorder. So I'll start with the ones that I recommend. They're right over here, so I just got to go grab some, okay?
Okie doke.
Talk amongst yourselves.
While Jacob is off site, we can see what June is doing. June, are you still with us? June,
think
knock
so.
3
Sorry,
times if you hear us. Oh,
Okay.
I'm having some technical difficulties.
I hate those.
Sorry.
Ain't no thing. Oh, that's a lovely floral print, June.
Yes, it is.
Hmm?
You're
Ooh, and we
In my
have that,
shirt, or
that
I
velvet
can't even see myself.
curtain.
Sorry, I can't even see myself. Oh, behind me,
Mhm.
it's my very pricey print and my chandelier. Ooh.
Ooh.
fancy.
She's living the life on Mercer.
Yes.
Um, For all the Grey's Anatomy fans out there. So when it comes to camcorders, of course, they're going to cost more than, because you can get like a $99 digital camera and stuff. But for me, the best in the series for camcorders, this is and again, I'm not endorsing any products unless the manufacturers want to sponsor the show. Then we can talk.
Contact us at mysticmooncafe@gmail.com.
Just go to that website and use that contact us form.
That's right.
Okay. So this is a Canon Vixia. I think it's an HF R800. So it's an HD camera. It goes for, like on Amazon, you can get them for like $170, $180. They do a really good job with video on it. And you're going to hear a lot from the ghost hunting community talking about infrared and full spectrum, all that stuff. This is just your basic normal light camcorder. Does a really good job. Audio isn't that great, so I can show you some mics I would recommend for it.
Okay.
But overall, like it gives you a really great recording. Let me see if I can flip it around so you can see stuff in here. But anyway, whee! Okay.
Ooh, nice.
Whee! Anyway, handheld,
Yeah.
you can run and gun with this. That's the important thing. It has really good image stabilization as well, and that's the important thing, because if you're going to
Nice.
walk around with your hand, you don't want to have it,
Right, like Blair Witch
major
Project.
shaky cam and stuff like that. But here's the one thing though about video that we all love video, right? It's visual
Yes.
world, everything on the web visual. You put it to Facebook, it's gotta be a video. You gotta know how to edit, and that means you need software. So when you do this stuff, not every computer comes with video editing software. Like for Ghostly, what I do, I've got an iMac. It comes with iMovie. That's all I use. I upload stuff, and it's once you get the hang of cutting your video, I won't go into that right now, but this is a good one. And here's another tip: always use normal light. Always have a normal light camcorder around, because infrared's not going to catch everything. Full spectrum's not going to capture everything. And the best evidence that you see everywhere, right? Picture evidence. Is usually done on a normal light camcorder. Nothing
Nice.
crazy.
Kind of true.
So I like to back up everything I do, because I'm going to, I'll bring out the bigger guns for camcorders. But, all you need is just a regular little camcorder will do you right. And, 1080, 1920, you don't need to have 4K, because if you're going to publish it to the web or anything, it's not going to be in 4K anyway.
Okay.
That's true.
Exactly.
That's true.
Mhm.
So that's this one. Canon Vixia. Oh, the other thing, and you're going to see I'm going to have a preference for Canons, and that's because I think they're the best with really fast autofocus, and they work really well in low light conditions, better than some of the other ones. Okay. So you've seen this one. The next one I'm going to bring out is same version, but it's the full spectrum one.
Ooh.
So this is when you see that purple pink light. That's full
It's so
spectrum.
pretty. I love it.
Pretty.
All the pretty pink lights.
But you're going to pay twice as much for this one. And that's because they just don't sell full spectrum cameras. They have to be altered. And that's done by hand.
Ooh.
So that one was I think I got that one for $179. This one, and as you can see here, it's got the purple light on it.
Ooh, pretty.
It goes for $375. So it's a significant markup. Okay. And the audio is not great. One thing that I like about Canons versus others, and Bell & Howell makes a lot of these, and Bell & Howell is shit. They can sue me. I don't care. Their products are shit.
They are crap. Yeah.
Awful. Their batteries last like 15 minutes. This one will give you a good 2 to 3 hours.
Nice.
A lot of full spectrum cameras have a hard time focusing, especially autofocus. This one does not have a problem with it. Okay. There's a few little setups you have to do in the menu and stuff. What I like about Canon, and especially with these consumer class ones, the menus are super simple. You can just go in, and really the magic thing is, remember, at least 24 frames per second is what you want to record at. You want like an MP4 video output, stuff like that. And you can just go to YouTube and see these quick videos for it. So it's great little camera, though I think it's a bit pricey because I'm about to show you the other cameras, and they're not that much more than this one. Okay? But I do like my Vixias. Like I said, I should just hit this now. The mic inside, not good. It's tingy, a lot of treble. So I'll show you the class of microphone I use for these. One sec, they're right here. It's going to look like a dirigible.
Okie doke. Oh, yes, it does.
So I like Rhodes a lot for a microphone. They're really good. I would say you want to get the shotgun ones, but the gotcha to this kind of camera, it does not supply power to your microphone. So you have to get one with batteries in it, okay? And some of them are quickly just to recharge and stuff, but this is near broadcast quality when it comes to the audio that it does. And Rode makes other classes of these. You don't have to get this one, but you do need one that is powered. So keep that in mind. It supplies its own power. And then it'll work fabulously with these camcorders. Just the other thing is you have to get a mount. There is no place to attach this microphone to it. So you're going to have to get one of those little bracket things to put this on. Okay. But Rode works great with most of these handy cams that you see. Okay.
Sure.
Would you? This is the only one that is bloated.
Cool. would you like to drop links in the
Yep.
chat rooms?
I
Okay,
will.
very cool.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And
Seth was
then-
asking. He goes, "I can't see him. Is he showing him what?" I went, "Yes, it'll be on the YouTube video later."
Yeah.
Mhm.
So for the next one, these are not Canon cameras, okay? But they're
Okay.
really good, and you can get these at different price points, okay? So one sec. So we'll start with the Panasonic. And
Oh,
I forgot the name of this one.
Panasonic.
This one, I think,
Something
has
HD.
the easiest setup for anyone who's buying like a mid-tier consumer camcorder for their ghost hunts and stuff. I could put the battery in it. Really, you just flip it open. It's made to be very kind of like automatic. You can't change many settings on this, okay?
Okay.
The mic isn't as bad as other camcorders. This one goes for like $400. So it's not full spectrum. It's normal light, but it has a much better recording capabilities, much better resolution, much better mics and stuff, but it is not full spectrum. But really, it is a piece of cake to use. This one is probably the most ergonomically easiest to use as well if you need zoom, any of that stuff.
Mhm.
And I do use this Rode on this one.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
So that's a good one. Now I'm moving up. And you'll see this one quite a bit on ghosty shows, okay?
Okay.
This is the Sony 4K
Ooh.
Handycam. This one does do night vision. It's definitely a 4K. It does have a really good front microphone, and the important thing is, because if you do a lot of video and stuff like with this, I like good mics, because one of my things I hate to do, and only a ghost really hears me bitch about this, I really hate going through audio evidence.
Okay. I've
So
heard that from almost everyone I've ever heard.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I always get really good mics with this stuff, because when you put them into a video editor, it actually boosts the audio and cleans it up and makes it much better. So then you can just break the track between the video and the audio, and you can export the audio if you want. I've heard EVPs. Actually, I just did a ghost hunt 3 weeks ago. It spooked in Seattle. I got a Class A EVP on all my cameras because I had really killer mics attached to them. Because my Zoom, and we can get to that. I have a Zoom H1N, didn't pick it up, but the video cameras did. Anyway, this one is a 4K. It has really good image stabilization as well. The lens is kind of weird. It's going to be, if you hold in your hand, you can feel it moving around inside. It kind of floats. And that's what keeps it super stable. So I really like this one. I'm not always a fan of night vision itself. It's a little different from infrared, but it's a really good quality camera. I got this one for like $700, so we're moving up a bit more. But it's 4K. You can do a good broadcast video with this.
I was going to say, I bet so. I bet it would be a really nice to.
Yeah.
And something compact and easy to shoot.
So if I'm going to do a run and gun where I'm constantly moving, I would use this one over the next camera I'm about to show you.
So if we do shoot the Blair Witch Project and we're running through the woods, that would probably be a good one, because it would not be too heavy.
Yeah.
Yes, we could film the ghosty witches floating around us. Okay.
Yeah. So the one of the little drawbacks it has is it's a bit wider than the other ones. So you can't really get as good of a grip around it and use all the buttons unless, you're like a big man beast and you got burly hands. You got some Sasquatchian hands to wrap.
I have Sasquatch hands.
Oh, you do? Okay, Aces, you're fine. I've got dwarven limbs, so there we go.
I just have, mine are just right.
Oh, good.
We're like wiggling fingers at each other here, guys. Okay. And I do, because this one with the higher image and stuff like this, I do have a separate set of, I use a separate microphone.
Mm-hmm.
It is a Rode, and it's their new NTG. So this is based off the technology for Rode's broadcast shotgun mics.
Okay.
So really, if you were the way I approach my cameras is if I were a field reporter and I had to go collect, do the story, cut it myself, out in the field, this is kind of the setup I would use for it. So
Okay.
nice. Really, really high quality shotgun mic. And then, as June's heard, I will bring out the industrial strength camera. This is the one that I shot the Estes method last night.
Okay.
So again, the night vision's really good on this, and we'll talk about lights in a minute.
Okay.
So this is my Canon XA11. And if you watch some of the ghosty shows, when they're roaming around and stuff, and it reminds me of the Enterprise.
Yes.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
So this is about a year old. Canon has 4K versions of this one. So this one will record in 1920 and stuff. This is a broadcast caliber microphone for this one. This is a Sennheiser MKE 600. And so June's heard this one. It's so sensitive. Daisy, one of my other dogs, licked her lips 50 feet away from me. I thought she was doing it in my ear. Okay.
Oh,
it's a super sensitive mic. And it's got infrared on it. And what I really like about this one, especially if you're going to do a long ghost hunt, now just guys, this one's not cheap. But it's got dual relay recording. So as one chip fills in, it just spills onto the next chip and continuously records. The other ones, it'll get to the end of a chip and you have to take it out, reset it, stuff like this. This one's smart enough to keep recording. And if you get the 2 128s, you can record for 12 hours straight. With this one at a 60 frame rate, at the full resolution, and with this ginormous, it's not really ginormous, but the super sensitive mic. Okay. So this is my go-to industrial strength mic. I love this camera. It's a little expensive, but you can get something pretty close to it. It's so it's Canon XA11, but they've got a G20, G21 series, which you can get for about $600 to $700, and never be afraid of Amazon warehouse deals. I have been burned on eBay, but Amazon warehouse deals, Amazon backs it. You got a problem with it, you get a new one the next day. I have done that before.
So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to...
Sometimes Groupon is really good to check out, too.
Oh, I didn't know they did electronics like that.
Oh, golly, yeah. Yeah. Oh. All kinds of them.
Okay, well, let me, as I'm flapping my guns, let me have
I do have to have a side note that sometimes I see Jacob in the corner with his camera talking to it and caressing it and calling it little sweet names. Yes. I do see him do that.
I adore you, Sennheiserita.
It is true. It is true.
Are you my
one mic to rule the video?
Yeah. Okay. Now, here's the thing with lights. So notice I've got an attachment. It is just a regular light. This is can do infrared. This just gets my goat, and I think a lot of people overspend on the light attachments, right? So if you go out to Ghost Stop, and I'm not slamming Ghost Stop, because I buy, as you'll see later, I buy a lot from Ghost Stop, okay? Unless you need total darkness, you don't need 6 different infrared and full spectrum lights, okay? With this one little light, the infrared in this camera will extend and fill up like the Pew Place in the lobby in Spooked in Seattle, if you're familiar with it, or even the Underground. It's just, you still have a light on. It's at 10%, and so there could be some blinding and stuff like that. And if you need total pitch black darkness, okay, then you might want to look at some of the other infrared or full spectrum light attachments. You need a lot of them, okay? I never need them because with a ghost, when we go in the investigation, we've got those big IR cameras, just pumps the entire place full of IR. Everything's fine with that. But if you're just on your own and stuff, the ghosts are used to light. I don't know why it has to be pitch black.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be pitch black.
Because those attachments can go for $60-$75, okay? And then the battery's dead in 20 minutes. When you can just turn this on, it'll last for like 8 hours, the lowest setting, and it extends all of your infrared and full spectrum light. I have no idea. Mind you, I do have 6 of those infrared attachments, full spectrum down there, but I don't use them so much anymore. I'm just saying. But I love my Canon XA11.
It's amazing.
Okay, that's me being weird. Okay. So, like I said, though, the other drawback is if you're going to do a lot of video is you got to have some editing chops. So it doesn't take much to pick up. Like iMovie is pretty easy to do.
Oh, yeah. Well, like Windows Movie Maker is really easy too. So, yeah.
Yeah. So
not as fast as iMovie, but it does its job.
So that is where I was with video, and I can drop a link to our University Heights. I shot that on the Sony, and I can drop that into the chat so you can see what the Sony camera was. Oh,
Cool.
just
Yes. And Seth had also asked if would you recommend them getting a thermal camera?
Oh yeah, you know what? I do really recommend that. So with any ghost hunt I do, any investigation, I like to have 3 different data points. For one thing, most of the gear is not made for hunting ghosts. It's made for, fixing your house.
Yes, exactly. Finding
kind
cold
of
spots in your house. It's your windows leaking cold air or something.
So I've got a post for that. I'll drop that in the chat.
Okay.
About it, where I compared I have FLIRs, and I use the TG, I think it's TG, or maybe it's just T165, which is the little pistol grippy thing. And then I changed over to a FLIR 1 Pro, which is the little thing that you attach onto an iPad or your iPhone as well. And the FLIR Pro is superior to the TG165. And that comes with resolution. So at the end of the day, I'll drop a link so you can see the pictures to it. Really, the TGI-65, the resolution is so poor, it kind of just looks like a 5-year-old's watercoloring, with reds and blue.
Yeah.
At least with the FLIR 1 Pro still takes the same approach, but it uses software to outline the shapes, so you know what you're looking at.
That's nice.
So,
because if not, it's like you definitely want to take a regular picture with a regular camera next to it if you have one of the crappier ones that doesn't really show detail.
So let me go ahead. So I was going to say, if you're going to do it like the TG165, I think retails for $165 to $170, and the FLIR 1 Pro, and you want to get the second version of it, okay?
Yeah, not the first.
Not the first one, the second version of it. That goes for about $200. But the one gotcha with the FLIR 1 Pro is the battery lasts like an hour. So you gotta, some people say you can plug it into a power pack. I've done that and nothing happened. It still chugs the battery.
Because that's what I usually do with all my GoPro cameras, because usually the battery doesn't last hardly at any time. So I just usually plug it into an extended battery and it lasts for hours.
Yeah, so I can't say I've been lucky like that. So I'm going to drop the University Heights investigation, because that's where you can see the video with the 4K.
Okay.
On it. So dropping.
And he's doing that into the chat room on our website.
Yeah. And then I will do the thermal camera review. So you can see the picture side by side. Here we go. I do know search. A little something about search. It's easy to find myself.
Just a little something. I bet you do
that
know.
little bit of something.
Little something about search. And so I put the FLIR on it.
Thank you so much. And we'll leave those up there so everybody can go check. For some reason, my computer is not recognizing or allowing that chat room to appear on the screen. So, yeah, I will look into that further at another time. Jake, when are you available?
We could do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'm working from home tomorrow. We could just, it's fine.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
But yeah,
Now,
so with the thermal, like I said, because I like to have 3 data points. So that would be video, audio, and either an engagement session or thermal is usually what I go for.
Okie doke. Wonderful. Seth was asking, what is the camera that makes stick figures appear? Isn't that a Kinect?
That's the Kinect.
Yeah, I got that one. Here we go. Let me bring up this bullshit. Just a sec.
Yes.
Okay.
He can explain a little bit about it. Yeah, it's very, yeah.
Interesting. Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Oh, that's right. He's his headphones are off.
Yeah,
His
we
head.
might want to wait a little bit here.
Yep. I got the hang on a second finger.
The gadget
Not that
heard
other
me
finger.
bullshitting about it and cursed me. Okay, so here it is. The notorious SLS Connect. So I might as well just do full disclosure here. I work for Microsoft that makes the Kinect, and I talk to the product manager. And how you see it used on TV shows is not how it's intended to be used. And the way that they use it is fraught with errors and false positives. So I can drop a link. I've got the best practices for using it, but the use cases are so limited. I don't know if I would say drop the $400 plus to get it. So what I've got is the baby one, which that's from Gotcha Ghost. And I do like, I'm not slamming Gotcha Ghost. Gotcha Ghost does make really good products. In fact, they made my full spectrum Sony camcorder,
nice.
or I mean, Canon camcorder. So the guy knows what he's doing. It's just the technology is not right for this. And the software is made to detect humans, yes, but it looks for joints. So where your wrists are, your fingers, your feet, your knees, hips, shoulders, stuff like that. It's not, and something has to reflect back. Okay, that's how it does it. So whatever it hits, it's automatically going to go through a troubleshooting algorithm that tries to make a human form out of it. So whenever you see anything that looks like a spider, we've seen some of those, and like, oh my God, it's a demon from hell, blah, blah, blah.
Scorpion.
Yes.
Mr. Scorpion Succubus.
I like alliteration.
Yes, exactly.
That is the Kinect not knowing how to read the environment. The other thing is the range is only about 6 feet in front of it. So you see people walking around, they do these big cavernous rooms and like, oh my God, there's this evil thing about it. No, it can't read that. So, I mean, I have used it. When I've used it, it's pretty much been right up on someone and the entire area is clear. Because when you turn it on, it'll map the human figure that can detect. And it's just looking for like one person or 2 people, right? So when you start seeing a lot of anomalies and stuff like that, that is the Kinect trying to do error handling. So it's trying to make sense. The other thing is, I should just drop a link for it. It's best positioned about 4 feet up on a tripod, angled downward like this a little bit. Like you see a lot of people walking around like this, or like on Haunted Towns with the Tennessee Wraith Chasers. They got Brennan and it's like up on his shoulder. It's never going to work. It's never going to work correctly. So
correctly, that's the term.
Correctly. But like we have used it June. We did use it in the Fox, and it was on a tripod. You were right in front of it, and we cleared out the area. It mapped June, and it picked up nothing else.
Right.
So
Interesting.
I didn't get any ghosties around me.
Yeah.
Oh.
Sadly, no, I didn't.
Yep. And another little thing, if you do want to get it, the one thing you should do is up here on your tablet, just so you know, you can never let it connect to the internet. You can never let it connect to Wi-Fi because Windows 10 will upgrade and destroy the software. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
always keep it on airplane mode. But what you want to do is there's a little slot on your tablet, and it's usually a New Vision. It's really cheap. There's not that many Windows 10 tablets out there. You want to get an external chip and put in here, and then when you do the recording software, you want to record it to that chip. Otherwise, it's going to fill up the memory on the tablet within like 20 minutes tops. But if you do the chip, it'll keep going. And it actually records a really good video. It's just screen recording software, so you're not going to get audio or anything. A lot of people like, well, it says audio over here. It's not. It's just picking up sound. It's not actually recording. It's just screen recording software. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Good to know.
We've used it. I mean, I still play with it from time to time, but just under very limited circumstances. So let me drop that link in the chat.
Oh, please do. Please do. And once again, you are listening to Mystic Moon Cafe on Wednesday, February the 5th, 2020. I see Denise Pridemore is in the chat room. Hi, Denise. Hope you're having a good day and you were able to avoid downtown this afternoon or this morning. All day, most likely.
I bet it's Party City around there.
Oh golly, yes, the old newer Power and Light District, yes.
Mm.
All bars, wall-to-wall people from what I saw on a couple of glimpses on the TV. But it was nice and warm and cozy here at home.
I bet it was. I'll just watch it on TV, yes.
So
my most traumatic victory parade. I was living in Chicago, and the Blackhawks had won the Stanley Cup for the first time since like the 60s. And starting at like 9, because the parade was at noon, starting at 9, it was just all of the suburbs came into downtown, and it was just beer bottles and vomit everywhere.
Oh, God.
I saw where some people were even taking their little kids along, and I went, "Wow, that's okay. They're your kids, your choice." But I sure wouldn't do anything like that. Mm-hmm. Even though my kid tends to make a path for us through, difficult situations, crowded situations.
It's like your furry kid.
Yes, and then everybody realizes he's not attacking and converge upon the poor soul.
He's like, I just want to get out of here. Let's go.
Mom! Alrighty. Okay, one more question from Seth here.
Okay.
If you could pick only 3 things to bring to an investigation, what would they be?
Okay.
He's going to take me.
Of course, I'll always take Madame June. Or as we were saying last night, because during Singapore Theory, we were speaking French, and she was Madame Juin. Juin.
Oui, oui. That's my French. Oui, oui.
Oui, oui. All the way home. Yeah.
Yes.
Or you could just say "Payez-moi à chanter," which means "pay me to sing."
Oh yes, please.
Oh, yes.
So 3 things. I would bring definitely a camcorder,
Okay.
and like I said, go with the one that you can afford. The best videos have come on natural light. It's just, we do infrared, and full spectrum quite a bit. But I would probably go with the full spectrum camcorder. This one from Gotcha Ghost.
Okay.
The next one is a melt meter.
Melt meter.
Yes, and this is the one. This one's a little more advanced. So if you want to get the standard Mel, it's about $100.
Okay.
This one is a bit more high powered that we use at a Ghost. This is the one that you've seen. Yep, this is the one you've seen on the Ghosty shows, where I'm getting old. I have to put
Got to put your specs on.
that. That's off the field. That if anything breaks it, so I like this one as I'm investigating. I can just. Okay, that's annoying.
Yeah.
That's the thing about the gadgets too. The alerts are really annoying.
Right. Yeah. Mute.
Mute. And the bad thing is you turn off the power, but you have to turn off the little range detector thing separately, or it'll kill your battery. I would bring a Mel meter, and it detects the ambient energy levels and changes in that. But remember, it's just rapidly right around the antenna. Okay, it's not like picking up the room ambiance or anything like that. And it does temperature. However, I generally don't bother with the temperature on this. Especially if it has an alert, because once it baselines, anytime it moves 0.2 of a degree, you're going to get chirping and stuff like that. So I usually just use the EMF field, which is measured in milligauss, which I really don't know what it means, but has something to do with the ambient temperature, energy field, electrical and magnetic fields in the area.
Ooh, neat.
A drawback to this one, though, is it does pick up man-made. So ideally, you would want to get something that isn't so sensitive to man-made electrical currents, because you can get false positives. But this is a go-to device I always go with. It has actually a little red flashlight under here. So the big thing about recording with infrared and full spectrum, you want to use red light because white light can wash it out. Okay.
Okay.
But a Mel meter, this one, like I said, it goes for $99. I wouldn't use a K2 or a Ghost meter or any. They're so sensitive, and plus the accuracy, because you're going from 1 to like 5 milligauss. There's not much. The degree of milligauss matters, okay, and how rapidly it increases. You want to see it. A digital display is best for that. Okay. So then I would probably, we got the camcorder, we got the Mel. I'd probably go with next the Zoom H1. So you don't need to get this one. You'll see a lot of reporters. When you see all the politicians up there flapping their gums, you've got the reporters that have this little phone and they're pointing out like who was your mistress? Stuff like that. Yeah.
Right.
So that's the H1. That's the H1N. You don't need to. Sony makes a really good digital recorder and stuff like that. But this one's sensitive. You can see the different angles of the mics and stuff like that.
That's wicked looking. Mm-hmm.
It is pretty cool looking. It's pretty sensitive and stuff like that. Really easy to use. All you have to do is hit the red button here, and it's recording.
Okay. Woo, neat.
Yeah. So very useful, handy one. This one goes for about $100.
Okay.
Like I said, you don't need to get it. You could get a Sony that's about $30. And you could even use your phone if you want to. It's just your phone actually isn't as sensitive and doesn't pick up a range of sound like this H1 would do. We also use an H4N, which you'll see a lot of studio recorders. Let me go grab that one.
Okie dokie. All right. I believe June has dropped off now. She's telling me that she will, her phone was dying, so she's getting an alternate power source, and will join us again in a moment or two.
So this is the H4N. This is what you'll see a lot of recording studios use, or like live concerts. They'll plug in their XLR mics to this.
Okay.
And record directly. This one is super sensitive as well. But when I showed you my lovely Canon XA11.
Yes. This is not a product endorsement, but it's kind of a product
it's
endorsement.
Not. Yeah. It is.
It's not
kind
a
of
paid.
right.
It's not a paid product
Correct.
endorsement.
Correct.
Yes.
I just love it. But the Sennheiser mic that's on the Canon XA11 is the Sennheiser MKE 600 shotgun mic. That's a better microphone than this one. It's even more sensitive. It's just this one records at about. It's a really good arc. It's like a good 160 degree arc on this one, 180 degree arc on this one. I think actually goes up to 240. This is a shotgun mic, so it only picks up what's right in front of it, but it does it very well. So I was going to say, if you're going to do an investigation, have trigger objects in the room, and you're going to walk away and stuff like that, then probably the H1N and H4N is the way to go. If you're recording, everything's in front of you, you've got your experiment set up, you need to monitor. I'd probably look into something that would work better with my video camera. So I don't know if I answered that directly. I would say H1N for sure. H4N is a bit pricier, but you can't go wrong with Sony's digital voice recorders.
Cool. Okie dokie. Sounds wonderful. Do you have a special room where you have a vault where you keep all of these things all the time?
It's an upstairs walk-in closet to one of our guest rooms.
Ooh, nice.
Walk-in closet that's like, I've got my cases over here. I have those like Pelican cases, talking about, like you transport cameras, like, National Geographic does their big cameras in them, or people put their guns in them and stuff like that. I carry my gear around in those usually.
Wow. Probably need to put them on wheels somehow so they're easier to transport.
The gadgets aren't as heavy as you think.
Oh, well, I figured the Pelican cases would be.
Oh, yeah. So they can be, but they've got a Pelican Air, I think it's called. It's a lighter weight. It's like half the weight of the normal Pelican case.
Okay.
But, and when I say Pelican, it's esque. I have one Pelican case. And the other ones, there is Nanook from Canada, which is just the same caliber as the Pelican case, and it's probably 60% of the cost. And then if you need cases, Amazon makes a really great series. So I carry my SLS Connect in the Amazon hard case.
Okie doke.
So, and the Amazon ones are pretty cheap too, but they're pretty good.
Good deal. Very good deal. Yep, I think we're out of questions from Seth, but I know you're not out of equipment to talk about.
That's true.
Or investigations, that type
I'm
of
back.
thing.
I'm back.
Okay. Well,
Hi, June.
Can you hear me okay? I'm sorry. I'm having technical issues.
I thought maybe you decided you needed a nap.
Yeah, just about. If you heard the snoring, sorry about that.
It's the poltergeist.
Yes.
June's poltergeist.
Everything's flying around my head.
I know. We investigated a bathhouse, and she came back with something.
Oh, dear. Will
Did
penicillin take care of it? Oh.
Yeah, you never know. Did you ever see that one video? It's been on Nuke's Top 5. It's been on a lot of other shows, but the one video of the guy, I think he's in Mexico, and he's kind of giving a tour of his new apartment that he has with his cat, this white cat. He's giving this tour of his apartment and everything. And he said one of the claims he has about his apartment being haunted is sometimes at night he hears, it sounds like someone snoring in his ear sometime. And it wakes him up. It's really loud snoring. And it freaks him out. And sometimes he feels like, somebody's been poking him, blah, 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 all this other stuff. So he's giving this tour of his apartment. He walks through his bedroom, and on the bed, you see like this figure. It looks like a black shriveled mummy laying on the bed. And it's like, and when he goes back in, of course, it's gone. But I know a lot of those I don't really believe. I really, think, oh, please, whatever. But I don't know. With that one, I kind of do believe that one because he genuinely, I don't know. He seems like he's believable in a sense. So
okay.
But most of them I usually don't believe. But that one I was like, oh, that was a little freaky.
Mm-hmm.
But it
I
could
like the
be
Slender Man videos. The Slender Man videos, how they showed like the guy in the forest and stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
stalking the kids in the playgrounds. I like the Slender Man. We all know it's done in post with After Effects. I don't care. I still like it.
Yes, that is still a little creepy. I like that. But I was just thinking that the snoring, that at night he'd wake up and someone was snoring in his ear, and then he walks by in the bed, and then the guy's in his bed, and he goes back in, no one's there. But it does look pretty creepy. If you haven't seen it, I can't even remember what his name is. But look up guy with apartment and white cat.
Okay.
I'm sure you'll probably find him. If you Google him or
nice
or
big,
Bing, or Bing him. Or
nice
Bing him.
huge search. Yeah.
Yes. Bing him, please.
Bing him.
Actually, if you're looking for a new car, just like use Bing to find your new car and then convert your lead, with the dealer. Thank you. Okay.
Awesome.
So we talked about top 3 gadgets. Now, like if I could extend to a top 5.
Yes.
This is
Please do.
This is probably actually after the camcorders. This is probably my favorite gadget,
It's very cool.
and it's the Eddy Plus. So what the Eddy does is it detects ambient, environmental measures. So down here with the orange, if you can see it going off.
Yes. Yep.
That is a geophone. It detects vibration. So if you get phantom footsteps or something, this should go off. We've got right here, it is an EMF detector. But it's kind of like a K2 in that regard. It's single access, and it's got the same scale and stuff. But I'll take it. I just got other EMF detectors. What you see here is the temperature.
Okay. Ooh.
Okay.
66.7 degrees.
Yes. And it can do it in Celsius as well. The other thing it does is it does a baseline reading, and it'll recalibrate from time to time. And as the temperature changes, you'll see these little lights flicker.
Oh, neat.
And
okay.
The other thing is it does air pressure and humidity as well. So it's a full environmental thing. So what I like about this is it kind of builds in more than just one data point. The best thing about the Eddy, let me bring that up there. You can put an SD card in,
That's awesome.
and it records everything. So you can go back,
wonderful.
you can upload your CSV file, and it'll do a time series. It'll record everything like every second, and you can see trends develop over time and stuff like that. So I really like the Eddy Plus. It's from Syntex Paranormal. It goes for about $200. You can get these on
what's
Amazon.
really cool, and what's really cool too is if you're accident prone, it has a really nice thick rubber like case surrounding it, and it'll bounce and not break, which is awesome. If you're accident prone,
very important selling point. Yes.
Yes, it's like it's got a little hockey puck case on it. This is a new favorite of mine. We used it last night too. I talked about my fondness for Ghost Stop. This is, and I have to take the thing off because it actually has a laser. It's a grid. So, see?
Ooh.
So this is another gadget that sends out the laser grid, and it's got 64 data points, and it detects motion, temperature anomalies. It will detect proximity as well. So I'll just hold it here, and you can see it's baselining right now, so it's blinking. And you probably can't see the laser because I've got the light on, but I'll show you how it works when it's done here. But okay, so now it's ready to start detecting. What's really nice about this, once it's baselined, everything that's detected in the background, it just treats as kind of flat. It uses it to measure anomalies, but if you're sitting in a chair or something like that, it wouldn't detect your movements anymore. Okay, because it's mapped you. But if you see me go like this, you'll see the lights change in directions. It'll say which way things are moving. It will start to alert you as it moves closer as well. And
we need to make a horror movie, and so they can have one.
Yeah. And it's got
it's
like
on Aliens though. When the aliens are getting closer, it's like that. It's like that thing when the aliens are getting closer, and you find out the aliens are actually in the ceiling, getting closer. That's exactly what that looks like. Ooh, that would be fun.
And it's got a little, you can't see it. This is one of my complaints. I reviewed it. I'll drop the review for it. It's got all the baselines and the changes and anomalies listed here. It doesn't record them though. So unfortunately, you have to point a camera at it to record it or something. So I'll send the guy out the thing and say, please let me put an SD card in to record the changes. Yeah. But this is my new favorite. This is one of my new favorite gadgets. I like to bring it everywhere with me.
That's pretty awesome.
And it's called what again?
It's the GS2 laser grid system.
Cool. Okay.
From Ghost Stop. So the Eddy Plus and this laser grid is something I would add to my arsenal once you get really good with your other gadgets. Let's see. And then, of course, and then we'll be done with gadgets here in a minute. This is the tri-field natural meter. This is the one that picks up, that excludes man-made currents. So.
Oh, handy.
It's got a magnetic. It keeps magnetic energy and electrical stuff separate, but you can sum them up as well. Read them together. I have better luck with the magnetic setting, actually, with detecting anomalies than I do with the electric. And it doesn't always squeal like this. It'll die down. Even out, yeah. Yeah. So when you get crazy readings and stuff, usually you pull this one out. You have to be careful though, because it will pick up your body's electromagnetic current. So it's kind of like put it down quickly by whatever's going on.
Back away from the gadget.
This is, I would say, this is a must-have when you get more comfortable with your other gadgets. And then the last gadget, and we can talk of sense, is the Flux 2. It's a proximity motion temperature detector. And so what happens is you turn it on. It's baselining. And what it'll do is it'll detect, it sends out infrared anywhere from a foot to 7 feet out. So it's baselining right now. It's thinking. And then if it sees, if it picks up movement, the light will change to red or green or something like that. So it's detecting my hand on this side.
Aha. Okay.
And if it's movement, the lower pitch will stay on for like 30 seconds, so you know it's movement. If it's a temperature change, it's red. It would be getting warmer. It'll be a higher pitch sound, and it'll, do a few little chirping sounds, so you know what's going on. And then green is on my right.
That's
Yep.
It's kind of fun, but a little bit annoying. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've used this on Ghost. So what you can do is I've got it on the 1 foot setting. You can move it up. It'll change colors to like yellow, and then red, and then purple. Purple is the 7 foot setting.
Okay.
You got to keep it to like 3 feet. It's just.
C-3PO, or is that R2-D2? Yeah.
So what you do is like you put this in a doorway, or you put it on a table in a room, and you leave.
Yes, definitely.
So it's kind of a bust for a product, but because like you can't mute the temperature changes or anything like that. I like it for the movement, but they claim like red is negative answers. It could mean male or no, something. I could be screwing this up. And green is female, yes, positive. That's all bullshit. No device like this is. I use it for motion detection, and that's about it. Okay, that's my gadget chat. Thank you.
No, thank you, Jake. Yes.
I love my gadgets.
According to Jake.
Where's my camera? I need to kiss my camera again.
It calms
all right. If we have anybody with questions that are in chat listening, or run into chat and type them out, and we'll get them asked. Yep. Thumbs up there. Oh, I like that last one. It kind of looks like a scaled model of a pyramid.
Yep.
With the Eye of Ra right there in the middle, and then the little lights bringing in the UFOs and different aliens to the top.
When I saw it and was playing around with it, the first thing I thought was Land of the Lost with the Slee Stack and their little pyramid things, and they arranged the rocks. Right here. You got a Slee Stack spirit.
Oh, hi.
Wesley, where are you? We have our Slee Stack spirit.
What you need to Dakota's giving me the eyes, but I don't know exactly what he's saying. Do you want back on the bed? You don't want on the bed. Okay. Do you need to go upstairs?
What kind of investigations are we going to talk about?
Well, we can talk about an upcoming one. So we did Spooked last night that we kicked off the show, and later this month, is it the 25th or something like that?
Yeah.
Thing like that. It's like the last Tuesday of the month, right? And we'll be back at Spooked in Seattle. And we have to think about what we're going to do there. But
more experience.
Our going to do an investigation at Thornwood Castle, which
Yay! They did Rose Red. Did you ever see
Mhm.
that movie, Wendy? Rose Red.
Stephen King.
Yes, I did. It was a pretty good movie.
Mhm. So we
Very
are
It was
going.
fun. It was really
Yeah.
fun.
We're going to investigate the castle.
Yes.
Ooh, neat.
We're going to kind of investigate on the down low.
Yeah,
But we're going to investigate it.
Yeah, we can investigate. I guess that means I'm going to use one of the little handy cams for that one. Because,
sounds
if
good.
I
I'll
brought
probably
out
use
the
mine,
Starship
too.
Canon XA11,
We'll be like, what the hell?
they'd be like,
Shooting a
I don't
documentary.
think that's part of your overnight stay, young man.
We film everything on our overnight stays.
Really?
I'm like,
Yeah.
why don't you come back to our room a little bit later?
Yeah. And we talk to our imaginary friends too.
Mhm.
So
We'll
just
be
bear
like,
with us.
hi, Manson. Hi, Dahmer.
We'll be like, we'll leave them alone.
Oh, my goodness. I forgot my star gadget.
Uh-oh. You
Uh-oh.
bet. Okay, we're going to shift gears here back into reverse. We're going to go back into the Star Gadget category. Oh,
Oh, yes, we forgot about Boo.
Oh.
How could we forget about Boo Buddy?
We love Boo Buddy. The Boo Buddy
I really do.
Interactive.
Hmm?
So,
I
You know,
think
it's only
I'm
for
gonna
the-
have to get one
Okay.
because I
Cool.
love
Yeah, I
it.
mean, a ghost does have the regular Boo, but this is the interactive one. This is the one that asks questions depending on the environmental stimuli. Yeah.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yes.
So vibration, temperature, EMF, stuff like that. So
Neat.
we use it for the little kid spirits and stuff. But I'm
Cool.
sorry, I forgot about Boo. If I ever have a reason to bring Boo, I bring Boo. Okay.
That's pretty awesome. Especially when you leave him alone up. I mean, like nothing's around him upstairs in the attic of the Walker Ames house, which is pretty awesome. And
Mhm.
it's like that was pretty cool.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I believe I put that little clip into the teaser trailer for the show.
Yeah, you
tonight.
did. Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I hope that
We
was
got that.
okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
I'm not bitching.
I figured I had kind of a standard permission policy to borrow a few things there, so I didn't, get official permission.
Listen, let's just talk about the interwebs for a moment. Okay, if you put something on the YouTube and you make it embeddable,
Mhm.
you kind of gave permission for the world to use it. Okay.
Exactly. Yep.
End of discussion.
That's true.
Mhm. So other ghost hunts. Well, June. Well, I mean, I can go back and do some of my other ghost hunts and stuff. But if you want to talk
True.
about the future of a ghost hunts, like where we
Well,
might be going, because there was
so-
the road trip.
Yes, actually, I think we're going to postpone the road trip. We have a lot of members that were planning on going, but have kind of fallen on some financial hardships. And there's a few other members that can't get off work at that time because things are going on at their work. So I think we might postpone that one, but we might do maybe shorter one. I don't know. We've had some things being kicked around, like Idaho State Prison and Port Townsend, or back up to Barkerville again, Canada,
Mhm.
BC. So yeah, I think we haven't had time yet because of all the stuff I've had going on right now.
Mhm.
Haven't had time to really look into it to see what we could do, maybe like a longer weekend or something. A little cheaper and a little, things like
Yeah,
that. But then Ross and I are going to be going up to Salem in June.
What?
So yes, we're going to find some haunted spots to check out up there.
Massachusetts?
I've never been
Salem, Massachusetts?
there.
Ooh.
Massachusetts.
When
And
are you going in June? I might have to find a way to go to that, actually.
that would be awesome. But we are going, actually, the first few days are going to be for Bewitched a
Oh,
little
got it.
ghost conference.
Oh.
So we're going up for that, and then we thought we'd drive around a little bit and just kind of see the area. I haven't seen the area. It's going to be at like Yawn City for Ross and our friend John to be driving around there. But I've never been around there, so I.
Well, you know what? Maybe if it's a long weekend, I could sneak away, because we'd have to do the Lizzie Borden bed and breakfast for sure.
Where's that?
That's in Salem.
Cool.
That's right there.
Salem?
It's in that. Well, all that stuff's right next to each other, right?
I thought it was where did I think it was?
When you live on the West Coast or outside like everything in New England is just like right up on each other, right?
Okay.
It is.
Okay.
It is not too far, because I was also thinking about going down to Plymouth Rock. And seeing all those
we might as well go to the
spectacles.
Conjuring House then, if we're gonna, because that's in the northern part of Rhode Island, right next to the Mass border.
Well, we'll have to look and see, because I think that would be pretty awesome just to see it.
That would be pretty awesome.
We need to plan. We
need a plan. It's really, I mean, from Boston, you could be in New Hampshire or Rhode Island within an hour. Oh yeah, Maine is gorgeous.
I wanted to see if the Stephen King Museum is up and running by then.
Really?
I know they were talking about it, but I don't know if they have actually done it yet. So or I'll just show up at his doorstep and say, Mr. King.
For our listeners out there, if you travel a lot and have extra miles, I will be taking donations so that I might join in one of these times.
That would be awesome. I wish I had extra miles, but I don't use the same air carrier all the time. But,
I'm going to New Orleans next week. So
yes,
awesome.
Yes. And we hate him.
No,
it's a work trip.
Awesome.
Okay, he's too sweet to hate, but we are jealous.
So of course they let me plan the entertainment, and we're kicking off with the voodoo.
Oh
so
yes.
They're just like, need something to do. Jake, can you work it out? I'm like, oh yes, I can.
Oh, can you live stream it? We can make it an event.
Okay. I'll see what I can do, because it's Wednesday night.
Really
it's
fun.
Wednesday night. So
that
we'll
would
see.
Be really fun, actually.
See what I can do.
Okay, awesome.
Well, also, I was going to say, one of the big things that, of course, a ghost is working on is we're going to go back to Centralia. Last year we did some investigations at some of the businesses and places around Centralia, and then we helped with their ghost walk. That was around Halloween, or it was close to Halloween. And this year, it's even going to be a bigger event. They are going to rent out a hall and have speakers and do ghost walks and everything else. And hopefully we may have a few other places that we can investigate just to kind of check it out too. So that's another big thing that we are going to be.
And there's the Oregon Ghost Conference, though. I think you guys are just presenting, right? You're not
presenting, and I'm going to do a class on making a spooky necklace. That's my contribution. Making a skeleton cameo.
Okay, well, as long as they waive like your entrance fees and stuff like that, without.
Exactly. And then I get to speak on my travel on the spooky side presentation. So I get to kind of talk a little bit about some of my travels and some of the evidence that we found. Yes.
Ooh, we should talk about evidence.
Yes. And I'm going to totally kind of redo it, because I already did it for Port Gamble Ghost Conference. So I'm going to kind of redo it and make it a little more just have some different things, so the people that saw it there won't go, this is boring. But I'm actually doing it at 9:00 in the morning, so I really don't think I'll have anybody even going. It's just gonna be like,
I'll go.
Will you go?
I'll grab my homegirl Sandy Huff. Ooh,
this is what you're gonna make?
That cameo.
Yes, that is. But I'm gonna have a rose in their hair.
Oh, neat.
And then I might also, if there's time, I might do one of the glass have them cut out a little round picture and put it in a little cameo and put the little glass on top of it. And,
Wow,
just something
that's
fun like that.
That's amazing.
So it should be fun.
Okay, so I'll have to get you to make one for Sandy Huff. Hi, Sandy. I know you're listening. Hey, Sandita.
Definitely. I used to make a lot of them, and I just kind of haven't made any for a while. So, so yes, I'm going to have to get back in that. So that'll be fun. It'll be a lot of fun. I do that Friday night. So.
If I can ask, is there a good way to extend the length of the chain or ribbon or whatever you might put on that?
A good way to extend it?
Right. If like fumble fingers, like I have sometimes, can't do clasps very well, but it won't fit over my head.
It might be kind of good to find an extension or something that has the magnet on it, that just kind of, you put it behind your neck and then it'll find each other and it'll do that. Let me see what I can find. Let's
okay.
That, but
cool. Thank you.
But yes, it's like all sorts of things. So. But yeah, the Oregon Ghost Conference is always fun. I love seeing a lot of my paranormal peeps in other groups and all around the country now. A lot of our friends from Preston Castle come up now, and Oregon, of course, all over the place. Yeah, it's really awesome.
Yeah, I've always wanted to do an investigation in Port Townsend, which you talked about being one of our destinations.
Yes, we're going to have an extended weekend, which is another thing we just need to put together. There's a lot of different places in Port Townsend that are considered haunted. The one that's kind of overdone, but it's still cool to go to, is Manresa Castle. The stories that they told, a lot of them are made up stories by the bartender. There's some stories that the bartender just kind of said to get people off his back, basically. But that's not saying that it's not haunted. It really is haunted, and it has some activity. But the stories that the bartender told, and now that's on all the ghost shows, it's all been passed on all the ghost shows as real, unfortunately that was all made up, and that's all a lie. So just putting that out there. But I am saying that Manresa Castle is haunted. One of my favorite places, though, is to stay there, which is a haunted place, is the Palace Hotel.
And that's in Port Townsend?
That is in Port Townsend. It's in the main square.
Oh, is it on the water?
Close. It's across the street from the water, but it's very close. It's but it is used to be an old brothel, and it has a picture of the madam, everywhere, and all the rooms are named after some of the prostitutes, and it's actually a really cool place. It has a great feel, and if you get like a room on the top floor, there's no elevator, so woohoo! I don't usually go up there, but it's lots of steps up there, but it's really a beautiful place. And I'd like to take the madam's room.
Yeah,
because it's really spacious. It has a fainting couch in there. And
neat!
Pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Big
so the
king size bed.
Probably the one thing I'd be most interested is in Puget Sound. So guys, if you're listening and stuff, and you haven't tuned in before, June and I are up by Seattle. So that's why you hear us talk about this quite a bit. But I've always wanted to check out the haunts in Tacoma because I haven't really done an investigation in Tacoma since I've been here. So, that's something I would like to put together, but I have no. I mean, it's like Ross has the connections to Tacoma, so I'd be like, dude, hook me up.
Yeah.
Ross, dude, hook me up.
Yes.
Dude, man.
He needs to just kind of sit down and just kind of, do a plan. Because there's a lot of places in Tacoma that we actually could check out. And one of the places, too, that would be really cool to check out is the, what is the place, oh my gosh, the place where they have the bodies in the cemetery that is in the enclosure. They're not buried underground, but they're buried in the
is it the top of the hills?
The mausoleums or
Is it the top
Yeah.
of the hill or?
Yes, it's kind of a mausoleum, but it's yeah, kind of like that. So
Okay.
I'm sorry, my brain is not firing in any cylinders right now.
It's
But
the
it's
fireball.
Yes, that's one more fireball that I should have had.
June's conjuring.
She's conjuring the bottle.
But no, that's the one that has the 1,000-year. It has the marker for the 1,000-year. Oh my God, I can't even think of that word.
Flood, or
no,
not flood.
where they
Okay.
where they put things in it in like 1800.
Oh,
and
they
then
put them in
time
the
capsule.
corners.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
time
time
capsule.
capsule. But they have it marked for 1,000 years.
What?
I mean, I don't even know how that place is going to be standing in 1,000 years.
Yeah,
Seriously.
Mount Rainier would have blown its top and wiped out Tacoma by then.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
It's so weird, but the whole mausoleum, the whole area is supposed to be haunted. And even me, who is a psychic as a turnip, when I go into that place, it's just like, especially a few of the other areas in there, I get the heebie-jeebies really big time. So it's pretty cool. I was thinking about that too. I thought it'd be really kind of cool. And it's usually, no one's usually there. So it might be interesting just to see if we get any EVPs there. But yeah, we have a lot of things lined up. We just need to put them down in stone. Like I said, it's been.
Because one of the other things I think, I might as well just go ahead and pull the trigger on it, is, the Best Western in Pioneer Square used to be the Pioneer Square Hotel. It's got a lot of great stories. Like, I'll rent a couple of rooms, That's all we got to do, really.
I would
I should just
really
make that
like
happen.
to see that because every time you walk by, you tell the stories, the ghost stories. One of my favorite ghost stories is about the woman that was sitting and or was she sitting or laying down, and all of a sudden she felt like somebody was brushing her hair or touching her hair, and I can't remember if she saw the little girl or if she heard a little girl, but it was like a little girl, like brushing her fingers through her hair. And things like that. So yeah, then there's been a few other stories, but yeah, it's got a really interesting history that when a lot of the miners from Alaska for the gold rush, when they were coming back from the gold rush or actually traveling to the gold rush in Alaska, a lot of the newspapers touted that Seattle was the gateway to Alaska, which they actually kind of left off quite a bit of territory that they have to cross over 1,000 or 2,000 miles to get to Alaska.
That whole British Columbia thing.
Yes, exactly. But they touted it as the gateway to Alaska. So there were a lot of men that stayed in Seattle at the time, and that hotel in particular had the rooms were probably 10 feet by 10 feet at the time. I think
it's a closet.
And sometimes they would have four men to a room in that place. So yeah, it was pretty bad. And with all the things, but yeah, it was a lot of traveling gold miners where we're staying in there, and supposedly a lot of interesting things have happened, and people getting robbed, and blah blah blah. Yeah,
a nice violent history.
Yes, lots of violence.
I love the violence. Historically speaking.
Yes, historically, yes.
From a haunted historic perspective.
We don't want any violence now. We just want to hear the past.
Not while we're there.
Yes. No. Please no. Especially if it's Pioneer Square.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to wish list, because the Best Western one is, that's very doable. The one place I want to go, I've chatted with a couple of the ghost members, and maybe I would put this together, and I will say it's kind of a pain in the ass to get to, is the Crescent Hotel in Eureka Springs, Arkansas.
Oh, you're not going without me.
I actually stayed there.
What?
But it was for my honeymoon. After I got married, with my ex-husband, we actually went to the Crescent Moon Hotel. So at that time, I was not really into the paranormal, but I remember getting kind of creeped out. So I'm sure it was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
But it's a really Eureka Springs, Arkansas is an amazing, really amazing, cool place. I can't say enough how much I actually wanted to move there because
wow.
it was such a cool place. But
There are some really nice bed and breakfasts around there too, and they're a lot less expensive than the Crescent Hotel. So that's always an alternative to actually staying there.
Well, because I was checking out. I was really serious about it. I saw we could fly into Tulsa or Oklahoma City or KC or Little Rock
KC, then we can all drive down
Memphis. Because it's all kind of equidistant from those cities and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And drive in.
Plan to go to Kansas City, pick Wendy up, and then we could just take the drive up there. Because
I see Wendy is slugging a Red Bull and vodka. What?
Well, or a strawberry guava Diet Coke.
Like I said, Red Bull and vodka.
It's yummy.
I don't think I've heard. I don't think I've seen that yet.
Oh, well, they've been out a while, and I really like them.
Mm-hmm.
I like them just a little bit better than the blueberry acai, I think.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But sorry, I was getting a tickle in my throat, so I needed to burn it out.
Check those out. I don't think I've seen them at our QFC.
Mm-hmm.
It's yummy. I highly recommend. That is not a paid endorsement. It's just my own personal likes and tastes.
But if you'd like to sponsor us,
yes,
and send us
I'm going to drop that on everyone.
Send us your airline miles, your your endorsements, and your sponsorships.
I can come and host your next bar mitzvah.
There you go.
Hi, I've got ghost gadgets. How are you? 13 perfect. Is it 13 perfect? No, it's not. Let's go find some ghosts, kids.
They would probably love that.
Anyway, so Jacob, where have you investigated, and did you have a favorite or anything like that?
Yeah, so I've done most of my investigations in Chicago, Los Angeles, and up in Seattle. And I did do a bunch of investigations / tour type things in Charleston. And when it comes, it depends on the kind of evidence you want to talk about, because I usually rank the location by the type of evidence I got. So when it comes to apparitions, I dropped this in the chat. I did get a full-bodied apparition on Suicide Bridge in Pasadena, California.
Oh my!
So you can click on it and blow it up and see it. It's pretty obvious it's a lady, and she doesn't have feet. So you don't get apparitions that often, if at all. Mm-hmm. So, and I will say, overall, my experiences, I thought LA has better haunts than it probably gets props for. There's a lot of haunted places in Los Angeles, and it was one of my favorite places to do investigations by far. Now with Chicago, when it comes to best engagements, I would say I had that at the Congress Plaza Hotel. I'm always going to talk about the Congress Plaza Hotel because whenever I go to the Congress, I get something.
Neat. Okay.
So, and it could be engagements, it could be EVPs. It's different each time. It's just consistent. I will say, however, I always get it in the South Tower. I never get much in the North Tower, even though the North Tower is is the older building. So the South Tower was added a couple years afterwards. So the Congress was the former World Exhibition Hotel. So if you read like Devil in the White City and stuff like that, it's one of the big hotels there. And I always got really great stuff there. When it comes to busts in Chicago, I never, ever get anything at Bachelor's Grove Cemetery.
Really?
Zip. Zilch. I go whenever I sneak in. There's nothing stopping you from sneaking in. However, I do not endorse that you sneak into Bachelor's Grove Cemetery. The Popo will arrest your ass. Okay. And I don't get the appeal. I think because it's pretty well preserved and put back together now, I'm thinking the spirits are settling down.
Okay.
Maybe
And
they're a
that could
little
be-
bit happier that it's not as derelict as it was. And...
Correct. Yeah. And so you can see some of the headstones were knocked over and stuff. They've replaced a lot of them and put them back and everything like that. But it's also a really shitty place to investigate because it's right next to, I forgot which highway it is. It's like 143rd Street or something like that. And there's cars racing by all the time. It's suburbs everywhere. It's kind of like Black Diamond in that regard, where you got a lot of sound pollution
Neighbors
and
all
stuff.
around,
Yeah. And it's in Rubio Woods, which is a nature preserve and stuff. But, there's people crisscrossing through it all the time. And it's not that big of an area to begin with.
Okay.
So I'll say the legend is, and maybe what has happened in the past than what it is today. And the same thing goes with Archer Avenue. You heard about Resurrection Mary and stuff like that.
Oh,
I've done my Archer Avenue Resurrection Mary investigations, and it's another really shitty place to investigate. So like back in the 20s and even the 70s, it wasn't so bad, but now it's on the flight plan to Midway. There's trains always going by. Archer Avenue is a very, very busy road. And, you don't get anything quiet or peaceful there anymore. So I'm hoping Mary moved on. Yeah. Let's see.
I do love those stories, though.
Yeah.
Of the hitchhiking ghost. And then, there's so many variations to it, but I always love the one where, he goes and checks out her grave and finds his jacket draped over her headstone.
Yeah.
So funny.
Let's see.
I mean, sorry.
Oh, yes. Okay. I could go on and on about Chicago. Hull House that you hear about is pretty. That's a pretty cool place to go check out. It's just now it's a museum on the University of Illinois campus there. Really constrained hours. They don't really like you snooping around and stuff like that. So that's another one where the stories are kind of bigger than what you actually get. One of my favorite places, it's gone now, was Manteno State Hospital. So this is, where you've seen the bathtubs with all the crazy writing on it and stuff like that. So they had this one cottage. I can't remember the name of it right now. They finally tore it down. So there was only 2 cottages out of that entire complex, which there were horrific conditions there, folks. And this is where they did syphilis experiments on people, okay?
Oh.
And they rehabbed it. A lot of it's a business park now, and the 2 really beat up old cottages, that looked really creepy. I've got pictures on Ghostly about it, or with it. They tore them down a couple of years ago.
Oh,
so
shoot.
That's kind of, disappointing. Believe me, I've been in those buildings. Like, you don't want your kids running around in these buildings.
I'm sure.
And they would be before you could blink.
Yeah. Let me see. I should probably just wait. Let me look. I want to make sure I put my top 5 favorite haunts, and as time goes by, the haunts start fading away. But I will say the Congress Plaza did win the most haunted hotel from a travel magazine.
Have you done any history on the Congress Hotel? What it was before it was ever a hotel?
Yes.
Or
no, it was always a hotel. It was always a hotel.
Okay.
And it was built specifically for the World's Fair, which was the H.H. Holmes Devil in the White City. So it opened just in time for that. But what's really cool, and I went out to the Chicago Tribune archives to research all this stuff. It was like an Agatha Christie novel. You had socialites poisoning people, jealous wives shooting husbands, stockbrokers leaping to their death because they lost their fortunes during.
Sure.
Yeah.
The crash.
Yeah. And, I got some really good evidence that I could trace back to a mob hit. We got EVPs and stuff like that giving away names. And so I looked it up. And in 1919, kind of like on the 3rd floor, they've now renovated this, and you can't access this part of the hotel anymore. When I was just back in Chicago, I went looking for it, and it's gone. It's just a conference room now. But before, you could go up some stairs to about the 3rd floor area, and we got EVP, Celine and I. So Celine is my Ghostly Activities co-founder. And we got EVPs of a name James, little boy, 5, And I looked it up. 1919, Russians did a mob hit on the Irish, and a little boy named James was shot in the head and killed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing when you can actually find
archives and
yeah.
So I'm just going through here. So I did Manteno State. It's really far out from Chicago, and the cottages, the 2 cottages are now gone. Resurrection Cemetery was Mary. That was my number 4. Oh my God. So pro tip, when you go out to Resurrection Cemetery, it's actually a gorgeous cemetery. That place is loaded with goose shit. You are just stepping on crunchy goose shit the entire time.
Yuck. Mm-hmm. We have places like that here too. Yes.
Yeah. I did Hull House. It's just tough to do because they don't let you really sneak around and do stuff. Bachelor's Grove, I had number 2. Like I said, I know lots of people that get stuff, and it's got a great history. But the legend is bigger. And I would say, and I have the Congress Plaza as the top spot. But in LA, what was cool is they have really great cemeteries. And then you get celebrities in there. But they had just as bad of a mob scene as Chicago and stuff like that.
And Kansas City, yes.
Yeah. And so LA deserves props. Like I said, probably the best place I've been there was Pasadena and Suicide Bridge, which is Colorado Street Bridge. People still commit suicide to this day there, though, even though they put up the suicide fences. Yeah. And I've done the Queen Mary, got nothing. I've done the Queen Mary a couple times, and it's always been a bust for me. Let's see. And then I did Charleston. I went to the old jail, and that was pretty cool. Talk about traumatic history for that jail. I mean, the whole place was like a cemetery. I only was in there for an hour, and I got stuff. So that was pretty wild. But they closed it down. It's being rehabbed and turned into law offices now.
Really?
Yeah, and I did the Yorktown, which is a big battleship there, parked in Charleston, and I think it's another place where the legends are bigger than the actual.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of places like that. Yeah.
So, and I'm more of a debunking type person. I've been, Illinois. I've been out to Peoria State. You've heard about a lot of that stuff's gone now too. Like the main building's been torn down. So we're losing this haunted history, which is kind of unfortunate. But I will say Seattle has some of my favorite haunts and most active places. Like really, you can't beat the Walker Ames house, and you can't beat the USS Turner Joy. I always get stuff there. So when it comes to quality ghost hunt, those 2 spots, I would say I'm probably more fond of the Walker Ames house because I really like a haunted house. But the one where I get more.
That's one of those places that one of those places that you go to you go there and it's just like, I would say it's just like home, but it's just amazing. Yeah, I mean, I probably investigated that place maybe 20 something times now, and every single time it's like it's different. Sometimes there's absolutely nothing at all, and then there's some nights it's like one thing after another, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm just going through all my different ghosty hunts here. I do like a good mining disaster. I just wish we could get into some mines and go to some, ghost towns out here, like Franklin, and the Black Diamond is a regular town. But I would like to do, ideally, I would like to do more of those ghost towns and mining towns.
That would be fun.
Something. Let's just wait. I'm just rushing through because we're getting low on time. I have a ton of ghost hunts on ghostly activities.
Yes, you have to check that out.
The American Cancer Society, I didn't get much, but we got good EVPs.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. I no longer do private residences. Oh, the shadow figure in Spooked in Seattle, that has to be one of the standout moments, right up there with the Congress Plaza Hotel with James, the boy we got through EVP, and I would put it right up there with Pasadena and the full-bodied apparition because we got that shadow figure.
That's right. It's pretty cool.
That was almost like Holy Grail there.
Yeah. That was really cool.
Yeah, so I mean, those are just some of my favorite haunts. I'd like to do more ghost hunting in New York City, actually.
That
You
would
know,
be
'cause it's
awesome.
got amazing history too.
Definitely. Now, can most of these be found on your website for ghostly activities?
Yeah,
Cool.
yeah. So what you'll do is if you go to ghostly activities, if you're on desktop, you can go to the side navigation, go down to categories, and just pick ghost hunts. And I pretty much make a report for everything.
Sure. Yep.
And I put all my evidence out there too. I do not withhold the evidence whatsoever.
Well,
Does not.
good man.
Yep. Oh, University Heights. I forgot about that. It's a good one. You know, but the evidence that I get at, like, the University Heights Center is really, really consistent. I gotta say, nothing really, like, figuratively, you know, I don't really get nothing really, like, got me there. I mean, it's pretty steady, crazy gadget reading, some EVPs and stuff like that, but not like shadow figures or apparitions. I never really did that kind of stuff there.
Now, I've seen that before there, but unfortunately, we did not have a camera pointed down the hallway there. So,
of course,
I really would like to do that every time we go there. Is just point a camera down that way again.
Cool.
For sure. Oh, I mean, I got plenty of cameras, so we can plan it. It's just those damn tourists getting in the way of me recording.
You need an Augie.
So, I mean, yeah. I mean, those are some of my favorite haunts. I don't do any, I try not to do private residences anymore. So, my experience is most of them are either, they just want to see a ghost hunter in action, or they've got some really bad family mojo that they need to suss out. You know, and so I would rather do the museums and the hotels and all of that stuff more so than a private residence. Though I've done them in the past. Don't get me wrong.
Very interesting. Have you ever been scared while you were out amongst them?
No, not really.
Yeah, you didn't seem like the scared type.
No.
Or the once you get overly, you know, traumatized.
There's only been a couple of times, and that's because of the humans involved, not the dead ones.
Right.
Understood.
A lot more afraid of the living than the dead.
Yeah. There's only been a couple of times, and it was because, and that's another reason why I don't do private residences anymore.
Understandable. All right, kids. Yeah, we're just about out of time here, and go to Jake's website, www.ghostlyactivities.com, and check it out. He's got all that stuff everywhere, all over the place. His blog,
It's all here.
It's all there.
It's amazing.
Cool. All right. I don't know what we have next week yet. If
maybe a live broadcast from a voodoo tour in New Orleans.
Oh, let's hope so. That would be so fun.
Yes.
But yeah, I will have Roman Delgado on the 16th, Sunday the 16th. He wants to talk about soul level illnesses and his shamanic practice and healing of such sicknesses.
Cool.
So that'll be
Love Roman.
Oh yes, definitely. And Cindy McKean will be joining me. Will be co-hosting that evening.
Oh,
so
nice.
her to look forward to as well. Yeah.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Otherwise, guys, got anything else you want to say before we sign off?
No, I hope everyone has a good week ahead.
Yeah.
You're on the hump day. Now we're closer to the weekend. So
Definitely. Yep. Going back to the cat house over by old Belvoir Winery.
Nice. And also check out aghost.org for some things and for events coming up and all that stuff. So
cool.
Awesome.
And go to mysticmooncafe.com and check out our shows and everything.
Awesome.
All right, then. Jacob has requested that we go with this, at times, good and hard rock outro.
I do.
And this is the time. I don't know exactly who that's by, Jake.
Nothing more.
Nothing more or less, you know. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your week. Be safe, stay warm. It's cold here in Kansas City.
It's wet here.
Yeah, so there. Deadly combinations. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Take care.
We're muted.
Okay.
We are muted.
Yay. Yeah, I want to see.